Hi everybody, here is lecture number 1 in the Energy and Living Systems series, and this is basically an overview. So two basic processes that we're going to talk a lot about when we're referring to energy in cells, and that's photosynthesis and respiration. All organisms require energy for metabolic processes and are essential to the life functions. In animal cells, glucose is supplied by eating or feeding, not by photosynthesis. And any energy not immediately stored in the chemical bonds is lost to the environment as heat. So ATP right there in the circle provides the usable energy for reactions, including photosynthesis. So both photosynthesis and respiration, really their whole hopes is to eventually get to ATP. So you can see here photosynthesis taking in carbon dioxide and water as well as light energy and will convert it to glucose. Oxygen is lost in the process. Well, oxygen is then taken in, and so is the glucose taken in. If you're an animal, you're going to take in the glucose by eating. If you're a plant, you're going to take in this glucose from photosynthesis directly. So this oxygen and glucose come into respiration, and carbon dioxide is lost, water is lost, and ATP is made. And any energy that is not immediately grabbed into the ATP is lost as heat. So you see this energy is always going in, but then it's going out. But all these other things, water is recycled, carbon dioxide is recycled, oxygen is recycled, glucose is recycled, and even the ATP we're not showing here, but an arrow, when we use the energy in ATP, it goes back, converts back to ADP. So we're going to use this term that matter cycles, energy flows. Okay, energy flows, always going in one direction, but matter is in a cycle, going round and around and around. Never gained, never lost from the whole system. Well, ATP, we got to talk about ATP because adenosine triphosphate really is a universal energy carrier for cells. So, we have this ribose sugar, we have an adenine, which is a nucleic base, which we'll talk about when we talk about DNA, and we have 3 phosphates. Well, these arrows are representing the points where all the energy is stored, okay, between these phosphates. They're really unstable bonds that are kind of held together. It's almost like if someone would have pushed together a spring and then release that energy and it kind of just springs out. So as soon as we let go, we break this bond, this energy springs right out. Okay, so this one is ATP, which has 3 phosphates, the T for tri. Okay, when we lose one, it's diphosphate. Photosynthesis. It uses sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and produces glucose and oxygen. It converts sunlight energy into chemical energy. The chemical is stored in glucose. Okay, so the chemical energy for use by the autotroph, or a photosynthesizer, one who makes his own food, and for later use in the food chain. Oxygen gas is kind of essential to a lot of the advanced life forms. So where do we get the water from? From the roots and the nutrients via the roots, like the minerals and stuff. Carbon dioxide is going to come in through underneath the leaf here through these little holes called stomata. We get the sunlight there. We get rid of the sugar. We lose the oxygen gas through the stomata. And there's the formula on the bottom. Now, cellular respiration is going to use that glucose and oxygen and produce energy in the form of ATP. It's also going to release carbon dioxide and water. So this cellular respiration to take place right over here in the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, we sometimes hear it called, and it's going to produce this ATP. Well, we can break that cellular respiration into 4 different chemical reactions. We'll talk about each of those. Glycolysis, the link reaction between glycolysis and the Krebs cycle, and the electron transport chain. So the overall reaction is glucose plus water is going to yield carbon dioxide, water, and energy. The energy is ATP. There's a couple of terms you might want to know. Okay, thanks very much.